when you are using or, depressed or, alcoholic, that you become kind of more self-introverted, socially anxious, whatever. And so they require you to do some speaking engagements, whether it be right in front of like the rehab themselves, or they're like, put yourself in the scariest situation you can imagine, trying to do, stand-up comedy or karaoke or, speaking in front of your kid's school about the book fair. And the more you do it, the more you let your face be shown on camera, which is obviously what Annie and I have always totally agreed on. It's important because it levels the level of anxiety inside you just a little bit each time. And it makes it better for you to go on and do certain work. And it makes you feel not so alone or so ashamed of whatever, your voice, your face, your fucking pimple you just got. And so anyways, this is my great grandparents' lake house, and so this is what is outside my window.
That's gorgeous, right? That is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, right?
That is.
And I'm here with all three of my kids, and we're having a really great time. So I went to pop in and say hello to my friends. And
So where is it? Where is it at?
Northern Michigan. So just about an hour south of Mackinac Island, about an hour north of Traverse City. So Petoskey. We're located on an inland lake called Walloon Lake. And actually, Ernest Hemingway's house was 5 houses down from ours. This is my only claim to fame. And his sister and my grandmother had cocktails on the porch back in the day.
Wow.
Like, I don't even mint julep, maybe. And but we're about 10 minutes from actual Lake Michigan, but this is an inland lake. It's a glacier lake, and so it's about 120 feet deep.
Oh, that's still too deep for me, Joni. I can barely swim.
I'm a very strong swimmer.
I can swim.
Nigerian.
I can swim, as my wife tells me, but I'd rather not. Thank you. It's not warm enough in the UK for me to swim too often. But looking at,
I could do the triathlon. I think I could do it, but I would rather be like one of 3 people, like one of the progressive triathlons. I could do the swimming part. I know I could, but the running, or no, I would rather not.
In case you're wondering,
I think I could be on board maybe with, but maybe it was like a motorcycle.
I can't breathe in water. That's what it is, right? I can't get my head up to breathe. So I tend to.
You just have to calm your body.
Yes,
it's literally swimming is all about you. You have to know that you float, and you have the anxiety has to leave a little bit. That's why little kids can figure it out, and when you're a grown up, you're like, I sink. I just sink.
But I do think, look, it's there is a connection between what you're saying and our conversation, if you ask me, right? I think it is fun. Life and achieving our bold idea, building a business, by finding that peace that you mentioned. And if we can't afford to live in fear. Fear is not always a bad thing when it comes to this topic. So rather than letting it cause anxiety and turmoil, I think I just
think like if you don't take a risk at some point in your life to lighten that load on your heart, on your brain, on your nervous system, it will eat you up.
Yeah.
And so it's just life can really be what you make of it. And I think taking those little steps to just, you know, get out there and conquer some like public speaking things that you're nervous about, then it will just enhance your life, because then it's easier to speak with someone in the line at the grocery, or while you're walking, and you're able to give a compliment on a someone with a cool golf shirt on. I don't know, but I'm telling you it works.
No, it does work. Now, Tracy, I'm with you entirely. Tracy, I see friends and teammates, but really competition. That's the same for all of us, really. People are not trying to outdo you. They're doing what they do. They're not focused on what you're doing, what I'm doing. They're doing their thing, the way that we know it has to be done, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're always right. So those, now, of course, there's someone who competes, but that's their problem, right? And when you compete, you're on the race to the bottom, usually, because now you have to find. Michael talked earlier about using your competition as your guide, almost. I think ultimately what that does is, one, it denies your uniqueness, but two, I think you end up having to find shortcuts. How can we do it cheaper? How can we do it faster? How can we do it for less cost, less time? How can we give them less to sell more? And that's not competing. All you're doing is biting your nose to spite your face, and you're taking away your uniqueness and the reality of being successful in business, which is focus on you, get better, learn more, do better. That's the truth, right? you know, but
I
ultimately,
I just went one more look, one more look. I wish everyone was here with me. Just be going on some of my wave runners, not mine, my parents. I'm not that rich. And
if I was there, I'll be out
go
there.
get some of my ice cream, like live like we don't have a care in the world, which is about 1 week of my life. So even though I do have a care in the world, because they get very annoyed at my kids leaving their shoes around. I'm constantly just like piling everything away.
Let it go, Jenny. Let it go.
I know, I'm letting it go. Anyways.
So either that or buy a shoe rack. That's what my wife did in the end. She bought a shoe rack.
I'm gonna be the best grandmother there is. I'm gonna like, do whatever you want. You want to throw peanut butter and jelly at the wall? Fine, do it. Love it.
It buys you peace and quiet. It buys you peace of mind, right? No, Tracy, I agree with you. The biggest competitor, if not the only one, will be myself. I agree. I think that our real battle is with me, myself, and I. What others are doing is neither here nor there, but it's on us to get better. It's on us to maybe reframe success. I think we tend to think that our success is about winning. But I think the reality is our success is whether we are better. That's real success. Success is about professional development and growth. Maybe I'm not the best today. I'm sure I'm not the best at anything today. It doesn't mean that I don't have my unique way of doing things. I certainly do. But also, every day I will get better. And as I get better, I serve my customers better. That's my real competition. Anything less means tomorrow, as Sarah said earlier, the words you use, will you become irrelevant. If you become irrelevant, then you're doomed, right? Your broad idea is sunk. So I'm saying really is to look at success differently. Success is not winning. Success is, are we getting better and better and better? And I'll let you in the audience take that to mean what you like, really. Sometimes success is about, it's about improving your speed. Yes, I agree. Sometimes success is about giving better service, about creating a better product, creating a better solution. It is about having the unique way we do what we do. A different way that we do what we do. Yeah, see, it's what Sarah said earlier very well. When our success markers are internal within us, when we create a unique solution, no one can compete with us. That's, I think, where we need to get to, right? Natalie says, Tracy, yes, I'm the same. So whilst our sectors intersect, it's all about how we practice. Exactly that, Natalie. Knowledge only equals skills. If we continue to experience through doing and learning and developing ourselves, I agree with you. So then knowledge becomes wisdom. Natalie, knowledge becomes doing what we do our own unique way because we know it works better for our clients. And then it means that tomorrow we're different us. Imagine that. There's never, standing still is never the answer. Real knowledge is getting better and better every day. I could talk all day, right? Michael, share with us. You fell off the stage for a bit. Well, you're back. Michael. Maybe Michael's otherwise engaged. Sarah, are you there? No. Okay. Until my friends start talking. And Cyrus, I see you. Go on, Cyrus, please. The mic is yours.
I'm sorry, I was disconnected for a few moments. What was the question?
Yeah, there wasn't really a question, I suppose. From what we've said so far, I guess what would be your number one, strategy to overcome this fear competition?
My number one
One,
strategy. Well, Annie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Cool, cool. Mm, my number one strategy: drop the fear. Uh, Competition is competition. It's always going to be there. It's been everything that I have actually had to encounter is competition, and fearing it just did not help. It actually stopped me from doing from doing what I need to get done. It actually stopped me from making a trip to like for instance, I had a job in Pennsylvania, and they're going to give me a lot of money, more than I could ever imagine, and I just feared going from Florida to traveling from Florida to Pennsylvania just to do the job, and leaving my family behind. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. You know, that was the competition right there. I feared it. And I said, having to get in the car, traveling all the way there, having to now, look for another house. It was pretty crappy last time I was there, and you can't get a house as good as this. And no, I don't want to do that. It's much better for me. I really came down to Florida to stay in Florida. But the
I like that. I said, of course, I like that. I say, well, we can't afford to let anything hold us back, right?
sorry about
I,
that.
I lost you for a second, Michael.
Yeah. Yes, a call came in. I couldn't. That was the interruption. I couldn't. Yeah, so I stopped myself from going out and getting that really fulfilling that really great opportunity because of the fact that I feared it. There's there's a lot of things, a lot of people, very similar situations, who do not pursue what they would love to pursue because of some minuscule aspect of that being very uncomfortable for them. Being uncomfortable is competition. Just think of it that way. Being uncomfortable is competition. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable is getting rid of the fear and getting rid of the competition. and actually just going ahead. You grow, just like Annie has indicated, you grow further. You actually, it's a learning thing. You learn more and you become more, become a better person. The universe becomes a better place because you did that act, you made that action. That's exactly what it's all about. Thanks, Annie.
I love that, Michael. I really do. I said that is the truth. That's where it's at, right? It's within, and I think when we embrace competition, right, and embrace it because it's there. It's not, it's like embracing the air, right? No point thinking about it. Is it there or isn't it? Isn't it there? It's there. So let's embrace competition for the good reasons you say, Michael. And it is a fuel for creativity, the fuel for growth, the fuel for being better, the fuel for finding better solution. It is the fuel for us to keep learning and through doing, as Natalie says. Uh, so again, the real game, my friends, is not about what others are doing. The real game is what are we doing that's better and different to what others are offering. That's the bold idea. Sometimes we might think we failed. Sometimes we might think, no, it's not working, right? Yeah, but I suppose unlike the sports world where there's a winner and there's losers, right? One person wins, the others apparently are losers. But even then, I might say to you, you know, there's always someone who comes second in the Olympics. There's always someone who comes last every time. Is that a disaster? Not really, because no one dies, no one gets killed. Really not. So coming, let's say, as us not winning, us not being number one is not the end of the world. Sometimes just the experience is what sets us on the path to success. Even if we don't get what we want, if we don't get what we want first time, as Natalie says, we learn. We learn and we improve.
That is true.
I've seen this so many times, even in sport, Mark. In the Olympics, a person who came nowhere last time, the person who didn't even make it to the finals of the 100 meters, for example. So they becomes the star, the new thing on the block, and they too are competition, right? But listen, let's not. I think that our markers for success, Michael, they're too high and they are abrupt. They are win lose. No, it's not. This isn't. It's rarely win lose.
Well,
It.
it's not really about overcoming the competition. It's really it's like Natalie said, it's the path, the process to
Yes.
match the frequency of the competition. You don't have to overcome it. You're a winner just by matching the frequency, getting to a point
Yes.
where you can actually match that frequency and ride the ride.
Mm.
You don't have to overcome them. You don't have to beat them. No, but you do have to be able to stand on your own. Stand at the same altitude.
Mm. You see
As you're
that.
continuously climbing, you just need to stand at the same altitude. You do not have to go beyond them. You do not have to feel below them because they're
Mm.
gonna perpetually, make you think that you're worse because you're below them. You just have to stand at their level and say
Yeah.
that I am enough. I
Mm.
am equal. I am I am what I am.
Yeah. I,
And it's
I,
all
I
about
totally
you.
agree. Yeah, I totally agree. It is all about you. What the others are doing. Look, when Michael says frequency, energy, I guess I take that as coming from the same, from with the right intentions towards your target audience, towards the people you serve. If you have the same love, if not more, than your competitors for your clients, then the recipe for success is sown. The seeds have been planted. Again, this brings us to Cyrus's point. We're all unique. You have a unique solution. You have the gift that's unique to you. That gift is simply that you think differently and you have a different lens of seeing the issues that your customers have. There you build on that, my friends. Then you get to where me and Michael are suggesting that we need to get to, right? There you build on that uniqueness. You're almost unbeatable. What the competition do is neither here nor there, and but it does come down to first to Michael's point. Do you have the right intentions? Do you have the love for your clients? Do you have the belief that you are the one to deliver that solution? Those are the things that puts in a certain frequency, certain vibration, certain. This is what mindset people will tell you, right? We need to know when we get ourselves in that space where we believe and we're willing to do, success is guaranteed, whatever that looks like. Success, like I say, is the experience, it's a process, it's a learning on the journey. It's not the end point, the way we tend to like to think success is. When I get there, I'll be happy. No. Be happy that you're on the journey. Embrace the journey. Embrace the competition. Embrace the fears. Live with it. Sometimes sit with it and see how it influences how you think and what you do. Cyrus, are you there? Mr. Cyrus, come back to us.
Yes, I am here.
And go for it. So now, what do you want to leave us with today, my friend?
Michael and Natalie raised really, really, really valid points. Say, most of the competition.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah. So most of the competition that people feel is at the
Cyrus.
ideas level, because when you are busy doing, you don't even feel there's a competition, and too busy doing rather than being busy thinking. Okay, so if you have time to think about competition,
I can't hear Cyrus.
well, you should
So
consider the competition, but you shouldn't be sidetracked by them. Okay, so competition is a very healthy thing. In a way, they are your compass. They are your moral compass. They are your marketing compass, and they are something to
It looks
anchor
like
yourself.
his mic is on
Right?
mute.
No, Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear Cyrus.
Yeah, so
I can,
that's
I can hear him. I can hear Cyrus perfectly. I don't know why
yeah.
you
So
can't.
Michael needs to leave. Michael needs to leave and
I
rejoin.
see that
I
his
did the
mic is
same
on
thing. I
mute.
couldn't hear Michael.
Yeah, Michael, you might have to leave and come back. Just refresh your device, refresh your screen, and then come back in. What's go on, Cyrus? I agree with you. I agree with you. Please carry on.
I was going to say most most of the competition related concern comes from idea level, not doing, not execution level, right? So,
I agree.
and when it comes to ideas, please do not worry about your ideas being stolen by a competition. Okay, if it is time sensitive, and if it is like competition sensitive, yes, of course, by all means, um, um, hold your cards close to chest as much as you can. Right? Actually, hold your cards. Put them in your pocket. Put them in your safe. Okay.
I like that.
Safe. But please do not worry about your card being read by other people, right? So you play. It's like life is like playing cards, isn't it? So there's 52 in that deck of cards, right? That everybody out has a card, right? So please do not worry about your own uniqueness. As long as you don't forget your uniqueness. Okay. Remember, there's 8 billion of us. We're not that. But at the same time, each one of us is an important individual. So whilst you should remember, you shouldn't let that lead to a road which is arrogance avenue. Nobody wants to be walking on that. So please do not worry about ideas. Adam, since Eve met Adam. Okay, so we've all had ideas, and There are when you bring your idea to execution level, then is worth it. Okay, if it is before that, please do not let that slide. And also, most people try to sell the product and service. Please do not sell the product. Please sell the why behind it.
Mm.
If I tell you, I'm, um, I'm, if I tell you I'm doing it for charity, you'll definitely buy it because you know I'm selling it for charity. Right? I am trying to make the money and pass it on to some organization. Whatever charity. Hi, Tracy. So, um, and welcome back, Mark. So, basically, sell the why, not the product, not the what, because what you're selling, other people have it, right? And other people are selling it. And whilst you're worried about competition, other people are making millions, right? There's 8 billion people out there. So, if you are worried about 2, 3 individuals on LinkedIn doing the same service as you probably need a coach, right? You probably need a little bit of time, uh, perspective, maybe time off LinkedIn and recharging batteries. Being too worried about
Mm.
is not healthy. It's sidetracking you and it stops you from being creative. It
I
is
agree.
not healthy level.
I agree.
Thank
I agree. I agree 100%. We lost some of what you were saying, but we'll get the point, Cyrus. Tracy, welcome. How are you doing? I love that background. Is
Thank
it?
you, thank you. I have this little decoration on my wall. It's white now, so I guess I'm just putting all the circles around it to incorporate everything together. I'm just here to say hi, and I wanted to ask you a question, Annie. And you do a lot of video shows, video events.
Please carry
Do
on, please.
you have people watch, replay, and what's the number that you're getting?
Do I have people watch replays? A few. So I don't. I know what I should do. I know what I could do. What I could do is repost all my events. I will do one day when I have time, right? So the idea is to repost extracts. You know, but then say, you never know. You never know who watches it on YouTube or on LinkedIn. Of course, they give you a number. So most events have a high number of views for after the event, like in the hundreds. They're not hundreds here. So people do watch the events. But I think I could do better at actively promoting events. That makes sense. Like, that will get more views. Let's say someone messages me, which they do. Oh, sorry, I missed the show. The first thing I do is say, right, here's my YouTube link. Go to my YouTube and watch the video, watch the replay, right? And while
Mhm.
you're there, please like, comment, subscribe, and watch more videos. That's how I do it. Why do you ask? What are you thinking?
Because when I look at my numbers, starting from the time that the audio was ending back in December, so I did a few video events. At that time, I think all the replay, views, I don't really know if they actually replayed the video or they basically click on it. Anyway, interactions, okay, it was below 100. Now I see probably after February or March, the number picked up significantly. But because I did not do those abstract, I did not edit it. Okay, I just whatever it is right there for the replay for the entire length of the time. So I do see maybe 3%, 300% increase. So that means people do have the interest, but I don't think not editing just show it as the organic form is the way to go. So I'm thinking about trimming them a little, just pick the highlights and
Mm.
do it. But I haven't got the time really to do the editing. But I think I need to get into that part and like you said, promote it. After event, all those interaction follow ups are very important, and that probably helps even more to bring audience, and then you can follow up on that. Interactions during the show has been pretty good, but it's very difficult. Like you are also running it by yourself. I'm not sure if Cyrus is here as a co-host or he's just a guest speaker. If you are running it, there are four places you look for, right? The chats, interaction with your guests, and then private chats behind, and also the technology with the StreamYard and LinkedIn. It's a lot to deal with. And for me, because I use Restream exclusively, they are a great team. I have to give them the credit for it. But it has been two occurrences. When I click on go live from Restream, everything's fine. But on LinkedIn side, nothing is streaming. I actually talked about an hour at one time for
Wow.
nothing. Yeah, and I was thinking, okay, maybe 12 o'clock is pretty hard for people to make it. That's okay, because I didn't have the second device running to double check. So last Wednesday, when I was doing it, and I finally got smart. So I had my second device running. So I caught that happening again at 5 minutes. So we stopped it and we did it again. So I was going to ask you, how did you manage it? Did you feel there's a need for a co-host? I'm probably going to have a co-host very soon as well, just to have everything running smoothly.
Co-host is
Well,
human, right?
can I jump in there?
Yeah,
Just for a
please,
little bit.
Michael. And Cyrus, I see you flashing your mic as well, my friend. Let the Michael speak, then we'll come to you, Cyrus. Go on,
Tracy,
Michael.
the fact is that your numbers went up to 300% because of gen people are looking for genuine content, nothing clipped, nothing short, because they see that a lot. We get a lot of clipped and stripped things on TikTok, on all, even on YouTube, just short streams, and that's, especially if I'm into a subject that does not satisfy me at all. I just I ignore it, so to speak. But if you give me something that is full, that actually nurtures my mind, that tells me that is genuine, and I can know that it is genuine, then I'm going to be watching it. Point blank. I'm not going to go somewhere else. No, no, no. I'm going to stick to it and watch it. So you might want to rethink that, um, with respect to the number of views that you're getting. I'll let Cyrus jump in with all the other stuff.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much, Michael. Tracy, I have been to your live events. In front of the camera, fantastic. Say what you mean and mean what you say. So, can
Cyrus,
you hear me?
move left a bit because you're breaking up. Move left now. Move
Oh,
one
okay.
word.
Sorry. Is it better now?
Much.
Much better. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, is it better now?
Perfect, my friend. Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Apologies. So, so as I was saying, your work is good. And can I please ask you, how long has it been since you started your live events? Please tell me that.
Live event I started in late December. So when the audio events were ending, I did a
Yeah.
total of 12 episodes, the live
Mhm.
events on different
Yeah.
subjects.
Yeah. I
And
remember that.
then I stopped doing that last month. And I took a
Mhm.
long break and start thinking what I can offer to my audience. So I'm just
Yeah.
picking up last Wednesday for my first one. I'm
Mhm.
going for another one tomorrow. And I feel, bringing a presenter is better because people like to interact with each other. Other than I teach, they learn. This is not a
Yes.
class, right?
Yes.
Other than
Please.
offering something you have, having them
Yeah.
to share what they have is much more important.
Yes. Look. When you go back, please do not change your style. Carry on teaching the way you're teaching, and carry on learning the way you're learning. Right. So, in terms of interactions, please do not change anything, because um, when I came to your events, everything was ideal. Okay. If it's not broken, please don't fix it. So that's number one. So style isn't the problem, and your audience isn't the problem. You have in excess of 6K followers on LinkedIn. Not all of them are going to be interacting. No, that's natural. Okay, don't worry about that. Secondly, when you finish your episode, edited or raw, it doesn't really matter. You said you leave it as it is. So does any. So do I. Right? We just leave it as it is. Right? Leave it as it is, because it is. People do not appreciate perfect. When you make it perfect, you lose a big chunk of your audience. It is your flaws that people connect to, because people turn around and say, "Oh, she's like me." If you make it perfect, you're going to lose a big chunk of the market. So please leave your flaws in there, because to you it might be a flaw, but to me it might be an interesting quirk that brings me to your event. Okay, so you can look at it as a flaw. You can you can look at it as an interesting quirk, a selling point. It's a USP, a unique selling point in your. And I'm not talking about money here. Selling as in selling the idea, right? So it's all psychology, isn't it? So when you finish your episode, apart from other than leaving it there, what else do you do with it? Please tell me what you do, and I'll let you know what you need.
I normally interacted with the audience that I didn't get time to go over during the live session, and I thank people for what they contribute, and that's it. I'm done.
Okay.
I do not repost or do anything other than stay in the original. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And do you pin any of the comments to the top? You pin comments when you.
No, I've never done that. I know there's an option, but I never thought about doing that. What's the
And I'm not
benefit?
talking about LinkedIn. I'm not talking about LinkedIn. You can post it on Facebook as well. You can post it on you can cut it and put it on Instagram as well. So anyway, the point is, once you're done with it, and the interaction obviously is a standard part of it anyway, you're doing it right. Okay, so you need tweaking. You don't need a fundamental change. Fundamental change, that is not something you need, honestly. Please don't make any fundamental change. So what I suggest is I suggest you go ahead and find out who else is like you, who else is doing exactly what you do. Go to their LinkedIn page and find out. This is a trick, right? Find out what. I'm sorry, I've done this to Annie, and I'm saying it in his face. Find out what mutual groups you have. Follow those groups. Ever since I did what Annie has done, my engagement has gone higher. My views have gone higher because I have gone to the same groups that because with Annie I've got, I think, over 600 or 700 mutual friends, right? So you need to find people who have a high number of mutual friends with you. So that means you both belong to the same cohort. And then find out what mutual groups you have. Sign up to those. Once you signed up to those, take your video and post it on those groups. Find an excuse. Create a post. Once you created that post, add that video to it. Just find a reason around it. Okay, so something relevant. Make it relevant, right? Then post it in those groups. Every
But
time.
Don't you need the permission from the admin before you post those videos?
No, not all the time. Not all the time. Okay. So even if it's
Be a
like
rebel,
that, don't
Chris.
worry, because
Be a
you're gonna
rebel.
have to post it, and then they will decide if they will approve it or not, right? Right. So business is a really busy thing, isn't it? Bam, bam, bam. You have to post, and if they don't like it, they will not approve it. That's the worst that's gonna happen. If they like it, however, they will post it, and that's when your engagement goes tenfold. Okay, do that.
Thank you, Cyrus. Thank you.
Crystal, thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Hello. I just Gamer came out with Nick today. So, and actually having a day off, I just saw you still live and driving home, but I have my headset in. I thought I'd pop in and say hi, especially because I could hear Sirius in here and everything. It's just too many people that I like. I mean, we got Tracy and of course, and thank you for the comment on the song that I had written for the anthology. It is appreciated. You know how that helps with the whole algorithm thing. So thank you, by the way, for making the comment on that for me.
Thank you, Crystal. It's very
Crystal, you know we love you, Crystal.
I appreciate that. I know I haven't been around, but when you work 10 days straight, have one day off, you kind of rest on that one day.
What time zone are you in, Crystal? You have 10 days in your week.
Yeah. I'm working 2 jobs right now. So yeah.
I've been there, Crystal. Respect, my friend, respect.
Yeah, I agree. I think congratulations on the anthology. What was it called?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think I'm more than my diagnosis. I think that's what Nick's called it, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
congratulations to all of you who are in it for sure. You know,
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. You know, I appreciate life is busy, right? Life is always busy, and so anyone who gives us a minute of their time, I'll take, and I will always thank you. So Michael in the audience, I'm going to come back to you in a second, Michael. Michael says, "Fortune favors the brave and those with momentum. It's not a try, just do." I tell you, this man is full of wisdom. I don't say that lightly, and Michael says, Cyrus was to talk about what Tracy could do. It's a trick. Get an axe. Cut it to bits is what Michael was saying, I think. Yeah, I think that, but he does say,
Michael, you sound like Matt. Matt always jokes around with me. He's like, "Don't do it. It's a trap." He's always joking like that. So, Michael, you just sounded like my other half, and that's a compliment because everybody knows how much I love my other half and how amazing he is. So, but you know me, Annie. I see the StreamYard link and I can do it. I try to pop in and show support. And
yeah, I appreciate you, Crystal. As Cyrus was saying, you are that person who we really know is a kind soul. Yeah, so thank you. So when I make positive comments about you, I say we know I know how far you've come, Crystal. And you're still going. So good on you. So well done, you. Tracy, go on. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with what Cirrus was saying about find your friends and join the group, share your videos, like that does help your channels grow. I've noticed that. I'm 9 away from monetizing, and doing exactly what Cirrus was saying does help you grow. So
yeah. I mean,
it is a proven method.
There's many things that we can do, Tracy. There's many things that we can do with our events. I might bring this as a topic to my next Light Up Your Life, which is how do we get more views on our live event recordings. I think I'm sure there's a million strategies. So going back to Mike says, think about reuse of content. I agree, Mike. Of course, there is always as Chris is just saying, YouTube is where you want more views, really, right? It's where you want more engagement, where you want people to really watch your videos, engage with your videos, give you the watch hours you need, to give you subscribe to your channel. Mike calls it, it's about reach versus depth. That's the question. Is it nobler to in the mind to be authentic and build slow, or just seek proficiencies with the word I'll use, profilicity is Michael's word, right?
Can I please say something, Annie? Michael's insights are fantastic. Early hours in the morning. I was live coverage with him, and he's a genius at what he does. Get him on the stage.
I sent him the link to join us, so I'm surprised that he hasn't joined us. But Michael is equally in love, with my friends on stage. I said, Michael, we appreciate you, my friend. And he needs to surround himself with kind souls. I tend to, Michael. I tend to, right? Yeah. And this is a Star Trek reference, I'm sure. I was going to say Star Wars, but it's a Star Trek reference, right? It's a community, Jim. And so when I say about building that community, there's many things we could do, Tracy. Many things, right? The first thing I would say is, it takes time. Even editing videos takes time, right? But also, I think there's a lot more that we do behind the scenes that people don't know we're doing, which is the SEO on YouTube, especially. The SEO on YouTube, it takes time. And if I get through 3 or 4 videos a night for the SEO on YouTube, because maybe because I procrastinate and I'm lazy and I get distracted quite easily. But if we need to just keep doing the SEO, and over time it will work. Because I remember the day before these live streams, Tracy, my YouTube was going nowhere, tumbleweed. No one cared. I was posting stuff, but no one cared, right? As soon as these events came in early or mid-December, I started doing these live streams. My YouTube has gone through the roof. I'm not quite where Crystal is next to monetizing, but at least I'm on my way. I think I looked yesterday, I was over 600 watch hours. I tell you, it's taken me years to get that far, Tracy. Everything's still 999% better than it was a year ago. I'm saying, so just keep doing. They can't go wrong.
He's doing a great job anyway. He's doing a great job.
Exactly. How are you doing, Michael? Thanks for joining us. It's always great to see you on stage, Michael. Or Mike. Let me call you Mike. That way I don't get all confused with Michael.
I am so blessed to be here with y'all.
We're blessed to have you, my friend. We're blessed to have you.
Why don't you just call him LeBlanc? I'm Michael.
You're Michael. He's Mike. I don't know why I was calling Michael. I guess I always think all Mikes are Michael.
It's a better name. That's why.
Mike, what do you want to share with us? Is it on Tracy's question, or is it on our topic, which is how to overcome fear of competition?
Well, it's a bit of both. I think we might be trapped in a mindset of scarcity as opposed to abundance. And I think it's up to us to create a space for ourselves where we can flourish. And it may not be with the crowd. Maybe it's pursuing our passion against the wind or against the current and believing in ourselves enough that we gather a community, an audience, and maybe it may take longer than we'd like. But I mean, I was a Joe Rogan listener way before he took off. And I think he had an audience that was faithful, and he kept so he had Fear Factor and some of this other stuff, but I don't think that's what people came to his long form stuff for. And he's a UFC commentator and stuff. Again, that wasn't really of interest to me. So I'd look at that and say, build an audience. Don't think of competition. And if people are competing with you, see if you can collaborate. If you can't collaborate, maybe you're in the wrong place for you. I think we all probably can find a place where we can excel without feeling that we have to compete. But that's just me.
No, I agree 100% with you. These events are a perfect example for me. So I do events. I know, as Cyrus was saying about Tracy, always keep your style. You come to my events because they're going to be different voices. I'm doing a room tomorrow about what I call brand transgressions. And people would ask me, how can the brand transgress? How can they break trust with their, with their community, with their audience, and it's simply by changing from who you are to something else. I think that's as Mike is saying, right? I've always worked on building that community of people, especially of authors. And my events have always been the same format. I like conversations. I don't want to teach. I don't want to. If you learn something, good for us, right? Whereas, I think in reality, for me, I enjoy the conversations more than, I happily have a conversation for 3 hours, and if without teaching you anything, because I guess I got this idea, Tracy, that people come to our events for different reasons, right? Some come to learn, some come to be entertained, some come to spend time with friends. I'm saying, if we suddenly change, our friends who wonder what's happened to them, and then suddenly the trust is broken, and then with that community that we built suddenly starts really struggling. Whereas, say my friends, many of my friends, I say my friends, my clients, the marketing clients. I'm thinking of my skincare company. I'm thinking of my fashion brand I work with, right? They want loads of buyers today. They think they haven't got time. I'm saying to them, no, you're wrong. Take the time, build a community, show up, number one, build a community. And yes, today will be one sale, tomorrow will be 2 sales, and then eventually there'll be a volume, because those who buy will tell their friends, and so on and so forth, right? But many people think it's too slow. But I know from what I do that there'll be a day now, so that last week, where I get 5 clients. I'm like, excellent. I'm overworked now. But it's doing it one person at a time. This is what community building really is. It always pays dividends. It always pays. Say I'd rather I'm happier with that than there's some people on here, Trace. I'm sure you see them, right? They have huge networks, and 100,000 on here, on there, on YouTube, on Facebook, or wherever, right? Yet they're not engaged. They're not engaged people. We get more results from 20 people, from 100 in a community, 1,000 in a network, than they get from 100,000. I'm saying that's crazy, right? Now, there's something about building a community that's really building a community. People who people who know you, who like you. I think if we do that, as Mark is saying, we will come good. It will come good for us. He always does. So people struggle to make the leap between, about how you go from 1 sale, 2 sales, to 100 sales. But I will say to people, it takes the same energy to sell 10 as it takes to sell 100. But focus on those first 10. Do the right things. Now build your website. Now have a visibility. Do a podcast where you're talking to people every day. So all of that will pay off in the end in huge numbers. Now people don't seem to want to take the time. Michael, I know you flashed your mic. I think that when Tracy was talking and when Sarah was talking, what do you want to add?
When you started talking about your brand and your fashion, and I don't know what it is. You said your makeup. I was thinking to myself,
Skincare.
skincare. Yeah, skincare.
They'll shout
What
at me.
is
It's
the
not. It's not
difference?
beauty products.
I know earlier we were talking about makeup, and you talked about your
Mm.
makeup being equivalent to your shirt. So
Yeah.
like, okay. And then what about skincare? What the heck is that?
It's a branding thing. I think I'm speaking Cyrus's language. Is how do you identify yourself? Skincare is treatment, essentially. I know, because every time I say beauty products, they go all crazy. I'm like, calm down. I get it. Stop shouting at me. We do skincare because the products are about treating conditions, whereas
Yeah.
beauty products is about looking better for the sake of it, right? Looking better. Lipstick, say mascara. That's not what skincare is. Skincare it has a deeper purpose. Tracy, help me. No, you're a woman.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you use any of the skincare products at all?
No, I'm lazy. No, but I do wear my clients,
And
fashion,
he has a
the
business.
clothing brands.
Well,
I
your
do wear.
skin's very good, very decent, and if you say yes, I will believe you. But you are very honest, and you don't do it at all, right? Yeah, you let them sit on the side, right? But then they're good for you.
No.
Not
I have
even
to.
lotion or Vaseline. He doesn't use any of that stuff.
Any guy liner? I'm just curious. That's all.
Or blush.
Good question, Cyrus.
Oh,
Yeah, I said guy liner, and he's blushing.
How do I tell you this? My son
You
and
don't need
I
any
have
blush.
a war of words every day because he's very much into cocoa butter, for example. I'm like, no, I don't like the smell. I don't like any smell. I don't like fragrance in that way. So most things have a fragrance, and I just can't bear them. I can't. Don't ask me why.
What
I
about shea
struggle
butter?
with.
Shea butter doesn't have any fragrance. It's
It
but that's
does.
you gotta
It
get it from
does.
Uganda.
It does if you are sensitive to smells and fragrances. I think everything has a smell. Everything has something to it. Johnson's and Johnson's baby lotion. Okay, that I can deal with. My wife bought me some. How to call it? They're more they're like E45 cream, medical grade lotions. No, I don't mind using those. So I do use those, but I'm not one to use guy liner, Cyrus.
Any skin is a testimony that you don't use any chemical on your face, you will stay young.
At all. I haven't got time, I said, but no, I get told this, but my son, he's very much into everything. He's into ouds. That's aftershave fragrance things for men. I just look at him and say, whatever, but he's happy. So, but I do see my friends who do buy the skincare products, Tracy, who they look different. So that gives me belief. And of course, our testimonials for the products tells me that they do work. So I have confidence in the brand that we have and the products we sell, right? It's never about me, And Cyrus and Michael, and Mike. Now, do you use skincare?
Yes, yes. I use shea butter, and I also use Vaseline, and I also use there's also the lotion I use with aloe vera. It's got to have aloe vera in it. And
Wow.
and what else do I use? Mm, that's pretty much. Oh yeah, they're castor oil. I also use castor oil. So when you say you don't use skincare, I can probably understand that because if you eat oily food, then the oil gets into your food, and that becomes part of your skincare routine as well.
Yeah,
You ingest it.
yeah. No, there's something there because I think many of the things we sell, the skincare products we sell, are supplements. So beauty from within, they call it, right?
Yeah.
And as I get to look at them, a lot of them have food ingredients. It's a recent thing that my clients started making, or that's something that suddenly becomes popular in products. Is mango oil, coconut oil. I'm like, these are foods. What is it doing in beauty products? It's not beauty products. Oh, okay, calm down. But no, a lot of it is food related. There's grapeseed. There's many different things that you never guess is in products. That's it's food essentially, and you know, long may continue. So Michael, you can't tell them that I'm 100 yet, can you? I'm getting there. I'm joking. So
I,
go on,
I
Mike,
can
please.
neither confirm or deny what I use as skincare. I do on occasion use bath wash, which has some level of treatment in it. I can't think off the top of my head other than that. I've used aloe vera on occasion, but not on a regular basis.
Thank you for being so open, Mike. And I say that for sure.
And Amy, I like to hear your shampoo and conditioner choices. They must be very good.
Tracy, there's nothing anyone's gonna learn, You know, I like Imperial leather. I always have done, and that's where I start and stop. The rest of the stuff, shampoo. I got no hair, Tracy.
I was gonna say Tracy is not making this a safe space for Amy.
I'll be honest.
Amy, you have the best hair ever. You don't have to worry about anything. You are very consistent. You don't have to think about, how to make my hair look less fuzzy and, make myself presentable. But every morning you get up, perfect.
I tell you, it grows sometimes, and I have to shave it off again, right? That's an problem.
It's a good day when you get a compliment for your hair.
I tell you, and especially when you got no hair, Cyrus, right?
I
get you. I'm gonna bring you back to the conversation.
If I use, so you asked me if I use like skincare and stuff like that. No, my skin is drier than my sense of humor. But generally speaking, no, I don't use any beauty products and just wake up like that. Even though in this picture I look a little bit disheveled and untidy, but the one on the screen. But this one. Well, there's fruit in wine, I suppose. So to answer your question, no, I don't use any beauty products. I'm naturally beautiful.
Yes, no, the wine has a lot of antioxidants. I'm told. I have no, if I know what that means, I'm just told this thing, Tracy. Look, Tracy, leave me alone. Don't. Let's go back to our topic, shall we? Tracy asked Mike, "Can I have both?" So it's community building. I guess, and doing things slowly, right? Is it too much to ask? That's what Mike always does. Answers beautifully. So you can build, you can, but the slow build will get you there. It will. It really will. And it's more sustainable as well. And in a space where you have longevity, an audience that knows and loves you. The important thing for us to take away from that, my friends, is it's having an audience that knows and loves you. Again, me and Mike argue about it. We don't argue. We have discussions around this. Can people really love you? They can. They really can. Especially if you can jump my event tomorrow, please do join, because I think we need to talk about what do our friends really want? What do they see in us for them to trust us? Part of that is care, and when we show we care for people, even if we're not the best in our sector, they will love us. And part of people loving you is that they give you the grace to make mistakes. Say the other day, for example, you can see I'm using a different webcam to my computer camera normally. So the other day I bought another one. So I bought another camera. It came, it worked first time and then stopped working. So of course I'm on Amazon saying I want a refund. I want to send this rubbish back, right? The seller then messages me and says, I will give you 25% refund. I'm like, what? 25%? Of course, I bought another camera already, right? So I'm like, 25%? Cheeky. So of course I told them, I think that's cheeky. That's just, what do you mean 25%? I want my full refund, and also I want the postage and packing to return your product to you. So straight away, I messaged Amazon as well and reported the seller. I'm like, here's what they're offering me, 25% of my money. And Amazon was like, you just give me a full refund. That's customer service. That's love for your customers. Amazon knows they can't afford for customers to walk away thinking, I can't trust this platform. I can't pay money for something that doesn't work, and I can't guarantee I'm going to get my money back. Right? I'm saying,
Amazing Amazon.
Yeah, no, I told them. I said, no, this is why I love Amazon. I put that in my next message. I'm saying, thank you so much for being, for doing what you do, for actually caring about customers. I'm saying, when we care about customers, they will care about us too, and that care is more than just like, it's true. It's love, and I think when we earn that trust, that love, everything works. Everything works better. So even when we make mistakes, it's how do we put it right? How do we correct our mistakes? How do we make good with the customers? That's what brings love. Anything else breaks our trust, and then we're in trouble. So brand transgressions is a thing. People do it every day, and so whatever. I mentioned them here, but join us tomorrow evening at 10 o'clock my time, which is 6 p.m. CST. 5 p.m. EST. So do join us then, and let's have a conversation. I'd love to know, Cyrus. Now you have to be there. I hope you can join us, Cyrus, because any chat about branding involves you clearly, right? Because you are right.
Sorry, what time?
10 p.m. our time.
What day?
Tomorrow, Wednesday.
Oh, I'll be.
Excellent.
I'll be in work.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure you can join us for some of it, right? We're going to talk for a long time, as we always do, right?
Yeah,
so do join us. Look, my friends, thank you for another amazing conversation. If you want to have one last point you want to make on our topic, I said, Mike, I think you spoke. Not Tracy. Okay, I'll definitely come to you, Tracy. So, Mike, you said you're going to talk about Tracy's issue or Tracy's question about getting more views, as well as about our topic. It's overcoming the fear of competition. I don't think you spoke about one of them. I think you spoke about Tracy's issues. Right? You didn't talk about how to overcome fear of competition. Mike, come back. Mike's got to come and put his skincare on. Go on, Mike.
Well, I thought I answered that in that we need to find a place that we aren't facing competition. So, and I think part of it is if we're following our passion, what do we have to fear? If we feel, and I'm guilty of this, if we suffer from imposter syndrome, which I think is probably the worst enemy of success, then we have to sort that out. We have to sort out the why and how to overcome that. But I think part of that is if we're in the middle of our passion, then it's unlikely we're going to experience fear. I think the other thing is that I've talked about this before, Eni, I think, is if we are operating in the present, literally in the moment, and we bring intention and attention, again, fear is not going to find a place in our minds and in our hearts. I think also if we are offering value, so we can be passionate about something that no one's going to follow us on, but I think that typically, and I wrote in the stage chat, we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. So if we can bring one of those or all three of those to our audience in our passion, I don't think we're going to experience fear. And like I said, it may take time, but I think, Eni, to your point, authenticity will reach places that profilicity, and profilicity is just basically seeking sort of fame for its own sake. You may make it. I mean, one in a million folks do, whether they're athletes or rock stars or what have you. But I truly wonder if they're going to be happy and if they're going to have the life that maybe we can enjoy in really being secure in ourselves and in the middle of our passion and offering value to others. I think that's a sweet spot that whether we actually reach quote unquote monetary success, I think we'll be successful.
I agree with you. I think that the intention is at the heart of everything of this conversation, really. But and I also agree that finding that sweet spot, finding your peace, finding your happiness, and you said intention and we're working with passion. I mean, when we bring that, it pays dividends. It always does, and I agree with you. Of course, it can take time, and I know many people who think no one cares. I've been doing this for years, and still no one's buying. But my smart friends. I'm thinking of my friend Lisa, for example, who talks menopause. She has stuck at it because her passion for her topic is so huge that now she has several books that she's in. So she has a bigger, she's more famous now than she was, even a year ago, right? And she's invited to speak in more places. I think it starts there, right? That's where you realize that it is working. Because people are seeing you, they're taking you seriously, they realize your topic is important. And I think it's not. I know it will come good in the end. So I'm lucky to work with people who they're passionate about what they do, but it's not something that we ordinarily think about. That's something we need. I'm saying if that's you, stick at it and keep showing that passion. Keep Mike mentioned value, giving value, right? It means what do your audience need? What do they want? How can you help them more? That's value, right? And it's different for all of us. I'm saying it's for you to find out what that really is. How can you really help people? Those that make money on LinkedIn, it's not normally because they're better than anyone else. It really isn't. It's because they show more care. They build better relationships with the people they're here to serve. That's how you make money in the end. If you're struggling, keep at it and believe in yourself. Success is not the end point. Success is a journey. Success is a process that you're going through. Success is your growth. That's for all of us. Success is how we get better. That's our success, really. Every way, I want to welcome you. So I see Dr. Roxana is here. Thanks so much for joining us. Natalie, thank you so much. Where's Ebibowe? I saw his name. Yeah, so his name on my list. Ebibowe, I haven't seen you for a long time, my friend. Glad you're here, though. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Tracy, please, the mic is yours.
Okay, Annie, I actually wanted to ask you a question before Mike start sharing that passion and value, and I agree with that 200%. And every time I saw your shows on, you do lots of live shows, and then start thinking, Annie is going to do another couple hours nonstop. And I don't remember ever seeing you drinking, take a sip of water or anything. And I just don't know how you could do it. I guess that's really, you're passionate, and this passion is really driving you forward. You're so self-driven or passion-driven. Is that right? Please tell me otherwise.
No, I love what I do. But I've got water here always. You can't see it from there, right?
Oh yeah, the water is not showing up because
right,
the background 80.
Let me put it from the camera, right, rather than trying to put it from my computer screen, which is a bit dumb of me, right?
Okay.
I have to get a new different camera. I got a fridge right behind me full of water, so I'm always when I disappear, I go and drink my water. So I do drink water constantly, and I love cold water. It has to be cold, otherwise I get to be like, it might taste lukewarm. But look, I love what I do. I love the response I get. I love the life I get to live, Tracy. You know, so I remember not long ago, a few years ago, right, when I would wake up in fear of everything, in fear of how my client's going to respond, how's this going to go, how's today going to go. Whereas now, every day is a joy because every day is how I want it to go, right? You know, I get to do what I want. I get to serve people. They love me more, and it's just. If I could have written this script, Tracy, I'd have written this script. You know, sometimes I think to myself, why don't you dream big enough? Why don't you dream bigger? You know, but I'm happy with my dreams come true, so I'm happy with that. I'll take it, right? And I guess now part of my conversations is realizing that there's always more that we can do. But when it comes down to things like that, I talk about, it's about having bigger dreams, being willing to be better. You know, the only way we're going to earn more is by being better than we are, right? You know, and serving more. So that's what I try and do every day, and it's such a joy to doing what I do and have that peace of mind. You know, that's success in itself, as Mike said, right? That's success in itself. You know, I'll take that. Now the money will come. I think, you know, I want to believe the money will come in good time. And so I've gone past the days when I was not making money at all. Now I was just paying bills. I'm saying, whereas now I make money and I get to have fun. Cool. That's heaven, right? Mike, I see you were muted.
I had a poem that I wanted to share with everyone, but specifically with Tracy. It's called Clarity Within. In fear of that we know not, we give power to others' thoughts. When from within lies a power that stands strong against forces, able to draw and quarter us, robbing us of clarity within. Stand assured in authenticity, without need for guile or deceit, secure in the knowledge of one's value, years of experience and success, secure in the ability to bring productive solutions, bringing abundance of clarity within. Looking deep within, we find that we are, in our hearts, creatures of unity, global brothers and sisters all, a spark within reaching out to start the fire, light leaping outward, clarity within. And the reason that I think this is so important is I think we allow ourselves, it goes back to this idea of abundance and scarcity. I think we allow ourselves to listen to those voices sometimes that tell us that we don't have value, that we don't have something to bring to others. And even if it's something simple and small, I think, you know, regardless of our quote unquote abilities, we all have value. And I think if we can lift up the other and sort of celebrate their value, while bringing our own, I think that's the sweet spot. And it goes back to what Eni was saying about, you know, that audience and bringing value to the audience, because inevitably, whether he's selling a book or he's, you know, trying to promote a show, his audience or his readership or, you know, whoever is buying that product is really the people that are bringing him, well, that A, are sort of applauding his value, and B, are bringing him success. And again, I don't think that necessarily has to be monetary. You can be successful just in helping another. And I believe that will come around in one form or another. Again, it may not be monetary, but that's my idea of success. Thank you.
So, a beautiful poem. You know, so again, I think it's a good place to leave our conversation. I think with the wisdom that Michael always shares with us is always one to take away and think about deeply. Really, this is that's the whole reason we're in business is for the people that we're here to serve. I think when we use the words like authenticity, I think it's always good to break it down, Mike, to say just be your true self. Who are you really? If you are that person with good intentions, people will see that. That's authenticity to me, right? Let's be those people who really are intentional about helping the people here to serve. So our success is guaranteed. But thank you so much, everyone that's added to my conversation. It will be here for another 3 hours, but rather than not do that to you, I'll let you go. But thank you so much. Do enjoy your evening, Cyrus, Michael. I appreciate you all. Joni, who was here earlier, and of course those in the audience, thank you so much for being geniuses. If you have events, please do invite me. Tracy, you have to invite me to more of your events, right? Invite us more of your events. Because I think, I was in your last one. And I think one thing that you do have, Tracy, is amazing guests. So I think it's not I'm always in awe. I am always in awe. So I think to reach out to big people, it's a great thing. I don't know if I'm lazy. Am I lazy? Maybe, but I'm lucky. I've got co-hosts already. I got co-hosts, and
you're not lazy, mate. You're not.
They bring their friends. But I used to do a podcast, Cyrus, years ago, where I said it was a guest interview podcast. I used to interview business owners locally to bring them to the world. I say that I know how much hard work that is. As soon as one show is done, you have to have your next guest lined up. Otherwise, you might just be in trouble, right? So now I applaud you for what you do, Tracy. I applaud you for what you do, Mike. I say, maybe we should do more events together as well. Really.
Sure, why not? But I want to say one word about you. I'm sorry. Did I cut you?
No, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to keep it short. Amy, you inspire others to do better, and I like to learn stuff. That's why I go out and find people that I can learn from, and I'm hoping that somebody else also learn alongside of me. So that's the difference between you and me. You inspire a lot of people, including me. Thank you.
You're so sweet. Look, karma. What goes around comes around, Tracy. I'm blessed to stand on the shoulders of geniuses like you at my events. Otherwise, I'd be talking to myself, wouldn't I? Really. But thank you for your kind words, and so I know that like-minded people stick together, right? And so the goodness that I try and give, I know you will embody every day. So I'm blessed to have what Mike. That's what Mike came up and that's what I said. That we're blessed to have you here. I meant that sincerely. Thank you so much, Cyrus. Please, what's the last point you want to make? Cyrus, go on.
Yeah, if possible, I wanted to dedicate this short moment.
You've moved again, Cyrus. You must stop moving. Stop moving. Every time you move,
I just wanted to dedicate this song to everybody who made this event better by attending it.
Okay, now, I will say this. Mike does music as well, right? So
absolutely, his poem was beautiful.
So it turns those into songs. So you two definitely talk. Go on, Cyrus. I'll keep quiet.
Thank you. This one's called Branding, Branding, Branding.
Branding, cleared up my misunderstanding. Now I know what to do, now I understand. Believe me when I say I'm in love with my brand. I don't just have a dream now. I got a plan, trust me. Now I know who I am as a brand. Louder than noise, sharper than trends. My brand's the message the world now defends. I'm not just selling, I'm taking a stand. Truth in my voice, fire in my brand. Louder than noise, sharper than trends. My brand's the message the world now defends. I'm not just selling, I'm taking a stand. Truth in my voice, fire in my brand. Brandon, Brandon, Brandon. Cleared up my misunderstanding. Now I know what to do, now I understand. Believe me when I say I'm in love with my brand. Love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And I say I love watching all these musical creators suddenly come out of nowhere. But I've seen you get better and better, Cyrus. So congratulations to you, and thank you for always sharing with us. So everyone needs a song for the brand, right? There you go to Mike, or there you go to Cyrus. I think Dr. CJ makes hers as well. Chris obviously can do songs as well. So these are all geniuses. I can't do any of that stuff. So my friends, look, thank you so much. Look, enjoy your evening. So I'm going to let you. I tell you, I have no other shows today, so you're allowed to go and get drunk quietly. I got events tomorrow. I got events Thursday. I got events Friday. So hopefully you join us there. Who's in the private chat? I'm scared to look. I never look at the private chat, Tracy. I don't know if you do. Because
something.
Go for it, Michael.
Okay. Branding cubed got you fooled because you just got ruled by branding cubed. As to Michael LeBlanc and what he said, operating in scarcity environment is a more detrimental part, is more detrimental to progress as opposed to operating in the abundance environment. That statement in itself marks an elevated mindset. Something we should consider.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, so that I agree. I said Mike writes genius, and I know turn some of those into songs as well. I say I'm always in awe, Michael, of those who can. I can't. I don't. It's hard enough for me to write a post that is snazzy. I tell stories in my posts, right? Shorter, and usually short, but saying those who can put words that actually do rhyme. That's from like Mike's poem. Those who do words that actually do hit home, like Cyrus' songs. I'm always in awe of. For those who put the comments in the private chat, I'm never going to look at it. I'm not going to see it until now, Mike. I've only just seen it now, Mike. I've seen my young Tracy on there. Are you, Mike? Are you really from this planet? You got to put it in the proper comments so we can all see it and laugh properly and enjoy them, right? I don't know what Mike said I also do songs. I know, Mike. I said that before I read this, right? Look, thank you, everyone. Look, do enjoy your evening. Now, go in the comments and do connect with each other, connect with other people. More than that, to meet people, actually talk to them. Let's build that community that Mike talked about earlier. Like one by one, you never know it's going to come good for you, and most people will come good in the end, right? But enjoy your evening. If you've got any events, invite me, please. So I'll say goodbye to everyone. Bye-bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.